Okay, let's get it. Got a little time on my hands like a wristwatch. I don't got time for the brakes and the pit stop. Race through the gridlock, take it like Chris Rock. Right to the chin, still win. Heavy metals like Slipknot. Got the driving, I got tunnel vision. I just hit my stride.
For this tutorial, I'll be using the Mermaid Gown sewing pattern and this pink spandex fabric. Alright, so I'm currently using a Brother machine. And because we're using spandex fabric, I'm going to change the stitch. Well, the stitch is already on 3, so 3 is for zigzag, and this is what you use for spandex fabric or stretch fabric. So I put the front and the back pieces together, and we're just gonna line them up on the edges. Sometimes you have to pull it just a tad bit to line it up so that they could be even. Most times I don't put pins in them unless the fabric moves a lot. But this particular project, I'm not going to put pins in it for the skirt. So this is the skirt, and this is just the front and the back. So I'm going to get ready to stitch it. And I put it on the half mark. Line it up with the half on the machine. And you can see that the half is here. You have half, 3/8, 3/4, 1 inch, and 1.5 inches. And I'm putting it on the half. So I'm just making sure that they are lined evenly. And I'm going to put my needle down. I'm turning the dial towards me so that the needle can go down. Alright, and then I'm going to stitch. And of course I'm going to back stitch so that it can lock in the thread. And you're going to sew both of your sides together. And this is how it should look after. Now you're going to put the front and back of your flare bottom pieces together and sew both of those down on each side. After you've sewn the 2 pieces of the bottom flare together, you're going to attach the skirt to the flare at the bottom. And what you'll do is you'll put the skirt on the inside of the flare to attach it. I'm going to show you here. Alright, so I have the skirt here. And I normally just put a pin at the top so I'll know my top from the bottom. So what I would do is I'm going to put the skirt in, slide the skirt in, and this is the bottom of the skirt, and that is the top of the flare here, the curve. So I'm going to attach the bottom of the skirt to the top of the flare, and I'll just put the skirt, I'll slide the skirt in on the inside of the flare. I'll show you here. So I'm just going to put this on the inside. I normally attach the sides together first so that I know that they're in place So here's the side seam of the skirt. I'm just going to attach it to the side seam of the flare. And then I'll pin that here. And then I'll take the other side seams of the skirt and of the flare bottom, and I attach those. And what you do is, I like to lay mine on the inside. So if you can see here, I just sit it on the inside. I'm sorry if you can't see. Pull this down, put it on the inside, and just pin like that. And then you'll know that it's in place because you can stretch it like this, and then you'll just pin all the way around the rest of the skirt and the flare. Sometimes people pin up, sometimes people, pin to the side, whatever is your preference. Just remember to take it out as you sew ahead of time. Alright, and I'm just going to sew along here. I'm sorry, I'm just going to pin the rest of it here. Alright, and I'll do the back side, and I'll be right back. I've pinned the skirt and the flare together all the way around. Now I'm going to sew it together. So the skirt and the flare at the bottom is now attached, and this is the look of the mermaid gown bottom. It's even all the way around. It's really wide at the bottom to give a big effect for your gown. Alright, so now that we've attached the bottom to the top, we're going to add a split. And a disclaimer, let me just say, this is just my method. This is not a method that some might feel like it's correct, but this is my method that has worked for prom girls and bridal and everything else to achieve the split. And I do it this way. I like to put it on a mannequin so I could get a true look into where the split will lay, because sometimes when you lay it flat, it don't give the real area where the split will lay. So what I like to do is I go where the middle of the hip is on the mannequin, and I come around this way. So I go where the seam is and where the middle of the hip is. So here, not up here, but where the middle, where the curve is. And I go around and I go 6.5 inches over. And then I pin. So let me do that. Alright, so now I've placed the pin 6.5 inches over, and I'll show you here. So I went here on the side of the hip area, and I just took my measuring tape and I went all the way over to 6.5. I don't make sure. Alright, so I went all the way over to 6.5. So now after you do that, so you have the bottom, and what I like to do is go from the bottom and allow it to meet all the way to where I have my pin. Some people might consider this eyeballing, But what I do is just straighten it out, like if it has a overlap or anything like that, and I pull it and I straighten it out. And what I do is cut from the bottom all the way to where that pin is. Now, you have to determine where you want your split to stop. So on this particular dress, my split will stop from the bottom up. I'll put it at 7 inches. So I'll do it from actually the line here, right here, and I'll go from the line all the way here, and I'll do 7 inches. So I'm getting ready to pin that. So now I've pinned it at the 7-inch mark, and I try to keep it where the other pin is. Now, once you hem it, it's going to go up a little bit because you're going to fold it in and hem it. So it'll probably end up being like 7.5 inches, which is still good because it won't be too high. So now I'm going to cut from the bottom all the way to this 7-inch mark. Now, if you cannot cut straight, you can always, put something here where you could put a line to where it goes all the way to the pin. And also the split will, be determined by your customer, or if you're making a dress for yourself, depending on your height and your size. You have to take that into consideration, but I'm doing it according to this mannequin. So I just start at the very bottom. And you just make sure it's straight all the way up. Sometimes you might reach a ravel or a fold, but just keep going all the way up until you meet your mark. And you can kind of see it forming as you go up. And there you have a split. So let me flare it out for you a little bit. Alright, so this is how it looks with the added split. Flare it out. And what you'll just do with the split is you'll just hem it. So once you hem it, it'll give the finishing look to it. It won't have that raw edge as if I just cut it. So I'm going to go hem it, and I hem the bottom as well. Now, a lot of people, myself included, include horsehair. They put horsehair braid at the bottom, and that gives it the wavy look, and it's really, really pretty. Drop in the comments if you all want me to show you how to add the horsehair braid. I'll definitely do that. But I'll show you how it looks hemmed after I hem the split and the bottom. Okay, now I finished hemming the split, and this is how it looks after it's hemmed. It gives the round effect, which is really, really cute around the thigh area. And this is how you make a mermaid gown bottom with the split added. This is how it looks when you add the horsehair braid to your mermaid gown. Let me know in the comments if you would like me to do a video on how to apply the horsehair braid.